And we're back, folks, with another sit-down edition of Behind the Uniform here on Sports Talk 1050 WTKA and 24/7 Sports. We like to go a little bit deeper, and Michigan's second junior day of the winter is already in the books, and joining us is a young man that I actually went to see last summer. My trek through the DMV, made my way over to good counsel for the first time in a while, and this dude jumped off the field. From the moment we saw him. Aaron Chiles was, I think that was shortly after you got your Clemson offer.
Yep.
So it was clear that you were a big time guy. That was before the season. So I want to get into how the year went. But before we do that, just how are things? How was today for you, your first time up to Michigan?
Today was great. Of course, getting to meet Coach Harbaugh, Coach Helow, Coach Mentor, Coach Elson, all of them, Coach Lewis. They were all great people. And, just seeing, hearing about Michigan on TV and seeing them play and getting to actually come up here and actually see it for myself, it was great.
All right, so let's go back to the season, Aaron. You guys had big goals, a lot of aspirations of what you were going to do as far as the season was concerned. How did you guys wind up doing on the field last year?
Last year, unfortunately, we came up short in the playoffs. But overall, we only lost about like 3 games, and I feel like as the team went on, as the season went on, of course, I feel like our team really grown. But unfortunately, we came up short. But next year, I feel like it's going to be our year.
So what about you individually? How did you think you performed? You remember what your stats were?
Yes, I believe I had 13 sacks last season. And I just feel like last year, my role with the team and, of course, the leadership role I had to step up into, I feel like I really embraced that and really, showed out last year. All
right. So if you talked about how you improved. So was leadership kind of the biggest leap for you, or are there other aspects of your game that you really thought took a step forward?
I think it was leadership and, of course, just taking over games, being 100% confident in my ability. Because last year we had a senior linebacker in front of me. And, of course, this year I was forced to, step up and just be the leader of the team. So I feel like in both aspects of the game, leaders on the field and off the field, I feel like I really grew as a player.
So let's talk about Let's kind of take you out of your box a little bit. I kind of did this when I came to see you, but the sun was in your eyes, so we had to cut it short. Pretend you're a coach or a scout in the stands, and you're watching yourself on the field. Okay. Give me a scouting report. Tell me what we'll see.
You'll see a hard-working player with a high motor. I run sideline to sideline. I can do it all. My versatility, which I think really just jumps out. How I could drop in coverage and have a pass rush as well. I think my game is actually complete. So.
Okay, so is there a player in college or the pros that people compare you to or that you try to emulate?
Fred Warner and Micah Parsons.
Okay.
Those two I really look up to.
Okay, I saw Micah in high school. So the thing about Micah is he could play they're not putting him in the secondary anymore, but anywhere in the box.
Yeah.
He could play. Is that you? I mean, did they bring you off the edge?
Yes, I came off the edge a lot. I had 13 sacks this year, so I feel like they really used me in a lot of different ways.
So give me an idea of what schools are saying to you, because you see an athlete like yourself, you feel like, man, you want him standing up all the time. He could, you could bring him off the edge, but certainly if you want to play him at backer depth, he could do that real well too. What are schools telling you about how they would like to use you?
Some schools are recruiting me as a middle linebacker in the box type of guy, but also other schools are recruiting me to, come off the edge and play that type of outside linebacker role. But when it comes to Michigan, I think with Coach Helow, he's really recruited me to play sort of both. First and second down, be in the box, and of course, third down, come off the edge and blitzing a little bit.
Okay, so. All right. So height, weight, 40. What are you up to now?
Right now I'm 6'3", 220.
6'3", 220. When is the last time you ran a 40?
Never.
Never?
I haven't, nah.
Yeah, you just got that speed on the field. That's all that counts. I got you. All right. So as you got into recruiting back last summer, it really seemed like it was just starting to take off.
Yeah.
How many offers are you up to now?
I'm up to 38 right now.
38 offers, man. So when you have 38 offers, how do you start to kind of separate the wheat from the chaff, kind of narrow it down? I mean, what's the criteria, not to make your final choice, but just to cut it down? How are you figuring that out?
Of course, coming from 38, it's hard to choose from, but just really the schools that, first I look at the schools that I'm interested in, and out of those schools, I look at who wants me the most. I really want to go somewhere that wants me the most, and and really feels like they need me.
So how do you determine that? How do you know a school wants you? Is it how often they call you or text you, or how much? Because some guys don't like a whole lot of calls and texts. So how do you weigh it? How do you measure it?
I would say just through consistency and just trying, putting in the effort to build a relationship with me. I think that's the big thing, is building a relationship with the coach, the culture, and actually buying into what the school, is bringing to the table and what they're trying to teach.
So I know visits are a part of it as well, part of that assessment. How many schools, what schools have you been to so far?
I've been to Maryland, Penn State, Clemson, Ohio State, Michigan, of course, and I think that's it.
But that's a lot, though. So I mean, before we kind of step forward, you got to have a circle, you got to have a support system around you, taking you around to all these places, right? So what about that for you? I mean, you're able to get to places a lot sooner than a lot of prospects are able to.
Yeah. So I think that's on my mom. Of course, she takes me everywhere. And when it comes down to decisions, she's going to be right there to make that decision with me.
So give me an idea. I know she's right there, so you got to get this right, right?
Yes.
You got to get this right. What is she telling you to look for? I mean, there are things that you want to see as a player, but there are things that she emphasizes that I want to make sure when you pick a school, it has these characteristics. What are those things that she's emphasizing?
I would think education is the biggest thing, making sure I leave school with a degree and life after football. What the schools are bringing to the table and what their alumni has done.
Have you determined, it's still early for you, but you know what you want to major in?
No, not yet.
All right, so still figuring that out. All right. So your first impression of Michigan, you kind of went over that a little bit already. What all did they have you do today? What aspects of Michigan did you experience today?
Of course, we toured the school. We got to meet each individual of the staff and the trainers and what they bring to the table, their culture, and things like that, just spending time with the staff and coaches.
All right, so Coach Helow, who you mentioned. What's the vibe like with Coach Helow so far?
No, he's great. He's a great coach. Me and him have built a very good relationship. He's really shown that he wants me to come there. So I think that's a big thing. And he's really made a good impression on my family, and I think I really love him.
All right, so Coach Mentor, defensive coordinator, what about him?
Yep, actually he came to my school last week, and just building a relationship with them consistently and getting to talk to them a lot. I really feel like they're good coaches, good people.
All right, and then Coach Harbaugh. So, that's always an experience when you meet Coach Harbaugh for the first time. So what were your takeaways from meeting him?
Seeing them on TV, he looks serious. I've been seeing him on playing games, and he just looks so serious and locked in. But getting to meet him in person, he's very genuine, very humble. He's a really down-to-earth guy, so I really appreciate that. And he just talked about, grooming me into the best man I can be, and let me be myself.
So were you guys able to meet with Harbaugh individually, or did he talk to you guys as a group, all the recruits as a group?
It was once as a group, but at the end of the visit, I talked to him individually.
Okay, so what was his message to the group? I mean, what did he kind of tell? Because it was a big recruiting day. You remember what he said to you guys as a whole?
Yes, he just talked about how the people make the place. He's a very, very humble guy, and how he brought the right people around him to make this thing happen. So he really put on others.
So it was one of the things for Michigan in 21, it was like a comeback season. It was a bounce back season. They had beaten Ohio State, made the playoff and whatnot. So they started to get a little more juice. I wonder if your opinion of Michigan changed any from when I saw you in the summer to now. Is it stronger? I mean, how would you sort of compare how you feel about Michigan, having seen them after this season and doing it 2 years in a row, to when you saw them after last season?
At first when I saw them, I was like, okay, great. I've heard a little bit about Michigan, their culture and how they do things. But, being able to actually come up here and see what they do, and seeing Coach Harbaugh, go to the Final Four, and actually, when they went 13-1, I believe, and seeing them win a lot, that just goes to show what he's doing is really working.
So how did it compare? It's a tough one, but hey, be honest with me. How did it compare to the Ohio State visit? Because obviously they've done well in the DMV, right? I mean, they've had some big time guys come through there, and they've obviously been really successful on the football field. Now Michigan is going toe to toe with them. How did it compare visit wise?
I would say it really just came down to people. To be honest, I think the people here are just different. They want the best for you, and they want to see you succeed, really. I just think the relationship I built with Michigan is very strong.
So as you look ahead, I mean, do you have an idea of what the cut down is going to be? I'm talking about number-wise, not what schools are going to be in it. Like, you know, some guys cut from 38 to 28. Other guys cut from 38 to 5.
Yeah.
So what is your goal? How far are you going to trim it down when in terms of how many schools you're going to be really serious about?
I believe I'm cut down to about 5 and really just, you know, look at those 5 and really go from there.
Now, could you get a feel? I kind of skipped around a little bit. I mentioned how well Ohio State has done in the DMV. Michigan has done really well in the DMV, right? I mean, you got Blake and Kai. And did you know any of the players? And it could be even the basketball guys like T. Will and Hunter and, you know, or Zaya Holman over in track. You know any of them?
Actually, I know Chris Jenkins. He started last year, went to my school. So, of course, you know, I've kept in touch with him, and he's only told me, you know, great things about Michigan.
Okay. Yeah. So I was having a conversation. I was talking to your folks here while you were over in the bathroom. And I've been hearing a lot about you, even outside of coming to see you myself, from your old track coach, Pam Fish.
Yep.
And so you said you heard a lot of great things about Michigan.
Yeah.
Has she talked to you about Michigan at all?
Not really, to be honest, but I know her background in Michigan, how her kids went here, and, you know, being younger, just seeing her rock the Michigan gear, I know she has a very good connection with Michigan. So
she said that you and Nick Harbaugh came to her program the same day. You remember that?
Yes, I do.
So what was that? What was that like? Did you know he was gonna be a dude at that time?
You know, we both came to the program at the same time. He beat me a couple times. I knew he was kind of fast, I guess, but he's a great athlete. You know, the potential he's lived up to and what he's done has been great.
Have you guys kept in touch over the years? Like, do y'all click?
Yeah, definitely.
So he hasn't made a decision yet, but he's looking at some of the schools that you're looking at. Would where he winds up, would that influence you in any way, shape, or form?
You know, of course, he has his own personal experience, so whatever he chooses to do is best for him. You know, I'm gonna do what's best for me at the end of the day. So
yeah, I got you. All right, so let's look ahead past the cut down to 5. Now we're talking about when you want to make a decision. Do you have a sort of a timeline in your mind? Are you gonna be one of those guys that waits until your signing day your senior year to make a decision?
Yeah, I believe I'm gonna wait probably to my signing day.
Okay.
That's the best day for me.
Are you gonna be an early enrollee?
I'm not sure yet. You know, I've talked a lot with my family, of course, and we have much more to discuss about that, but I'm not sure yet.
Okay, and when you do that, this kind of gets back to that criteria question. But when you sit down, that final moment to pick a school, is that you in the solitude of whatever, you know, area that you want to be at to be with your own thoughts? Is it like a round table where you're sitting around with the people who care about you the most, making that decision? How do you think it's going to go down at the end?
At the end, I feel like, you know, it's going to be me and my family, of course. They're going to give me their inputs and what they think is best for me. And I just think that at the end of the day, they're going to let me make decisions what I like the most. So
all right.
That's what it's going to be. All
right, and let's look ahead to your senior season, man. I mean, you kind of alluded to it. You said you came up a little short.
Yep.
You know, what are the things that you think you, as an individual, need to do better in order to make sure you guys reach your goals next year?
This year, you know, I think my leadership was strong. I think I did a pretty good job. But next year, I feel like I have to bring a lot of people along with me. You know, just give them little tricks of the game. Try to help, you know, younger guys coming up and stepping up in different roles and just come together as a team in general. Okay,
now you visited Michigan. You got any other visits scheduled for this winter or into the spring already?
No, I don't have any scheduled yet.
But you definitely gonna take some. You have a clue of what those schools are gonna be?
No, not yet.
All right, my last one for you. This is the most on the spot question I'm gonna give you. You said you're gonna be cutting the list down at some point. Do you think Michigan's gonna make that cut?
Definitely, they are.
Gotcha.
I can tell you that now.
Aaron Chiles, appreciate your time, man.
Thank
Thanks.
you. I appreciate you for having me.